Hey, this is Jennifer and Megan. We are two sisters from South Carolina on a mission to discover more about our British grandmother's life in London by reading, researching, and sharing her love letters she wrote to her American soldier sweetheart during World War II. Our grandmother Lucy was born and raised in London, England, and our grandfather Jimmie was born and raised in South Carolina. He was in the U.S. Army and was stationed near Salisbury when they first met. At some point, he visited London and he and Lucy met somewhere in Covent Garden. At the time of the first letter that we have, Lucy and Jimmie had met, fallen in love, gotten engaged, and were planning on getting married in London and then moving to South Carolina once the war was over. But before they were able to get married, Jimmie was shipped off to France. They thought he would be coming back to London sometime soon after leaving, but as we now know, that didn't happen. And from the moment they departed at the train station, it will be 2 years before they are reunited. And so this 2-year period that they were apart is what gave us these letters we are reading today. It's such a beautiful love story that we just have to share it. Also, it's taken a life of its own as we've made so many awesome discoveries along the way, and it has become an ongoing research project. So, if you're looking for an interesting, unique perspective on life, love, and London during World War II, then you've found the right place. We will take you through each letter and bring them to life as we have recently traveled to some of the exact places mentioned in these letters. Think of this as a historical love story come to life. So, grab your favorite beverage and blanket and prepare to dive in with us. This is the All My Love, Lucy podcast. Hey, and welcome back to the All My Love, Lucy podcast. We're so glad you're here with us for episode number 18.
18. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it.
Thank you all so much for joining us and for all your love and support. We are really having so much fun with this.
We really are. We're having a great time. And if you're a first-time listener, we do encourage you to go back and start with episode number 1 because this podcast is more like a series. It's in chronological order based on the letters we're reading. So it'll just make more sense. And as we refer back to things, you'll know what we're talking about. So you can jump in anywhere if you want to, but it's always better to go back to the beginning, we think, anyway.
Yeah.
Now, usually we do have an uninterrupted reading of Lucy's letter at the end of the episode, and we will have that today, but we have it in a little bit different format that we're trying out, and we want your feedback on it. So make sure you stick around and listen to that and comment and tell us what you think about it afterwards. And also, we have a new, I guess it's called, what did you call it, a mini-series?
Yeah.
Like a mini-series we're doing. Megan's friend, Stephen, and give a shout-out to Stephen, he recommended us doing a kind of like a food segment. And so we are going to do a mini-series called A Taste of London, where we're going to be testing out and trying foods and drinks from London and the surrounding areas or British foods. And we hope that you will enjoy that. It will be a separate release. We're not going to include it in our podcast episodes because we don't want to drag them out too long. So we will do those separately and post those separately. So keep an eye out for that. We will be posting the first one on probably tomorrow. So just make sure you keep an eye out for that. That's going to be fun. We're excited about it. We had a great time filming the first one. So, let's get started with letter number 18.
August 2nd, 1944. My darling Jimmie, I was so happy to receive your lovely letter, and I keep reading it over and over again. I was delighted to hear you have had a raise and got another stripe. I imagine the T underneath denotes that you have reached a very high standard, and I am so proud of my sweetheart because I know you must have been working hard. Please tell me more about it the next time you write. 2 stripes in the British Army indicates a corporal, so what do yours with a T underneath represent?
So the promotion, Jimmie has gotten a promotion, and we reached out to Michael Godbout, the author of Key to Command, the book that we mention almost every episode, and he helped us in understanding what this promotion was. He also has been sending me several morning reports what they're doing, what Jimmie's doing in the 50th Signal Battalion and all of that. And one of them does show Jimmie's promotion. And so the T5 rank is equivalent to corporal. So Lucy here talks about the 2 stripes in the British Army indicates a corporal. So the T5 here is also equivalent to corporal. Its insignia is 2 chevrons with a T underneath them. And so that's what she's talking about here. And Michael, again, was so gracious to explain that to us, and we're grateful for that.
Darling, I was surprised to learn you had not yet received your writing paper because I posted it to you the same day I received your letter, which I think must be nearly 2 weeks ago. My letters still seem to take a long time to reach you.
So it must be taking longer for the mail again. You know, it had picked up, I think, maybe a couple weeks ago for her. Mm-hmm. And then now it seems like it's slowing down again. So must be because the conflict maybe picked back up over there. I don't really know. But it seems like it's taking longer.
Monday will be August bank holiday, so I do not have to go to work on that day. How I wish you were at Salisbury so that I could come and see my darling. Do you remember that lovely sunny afternoon we had there? I enjoyed every moment of it, and it went far too quickly.
So a couple of things here. First, the August bank holiday. There are 2 bank holidays in the UK, Spring Bank, and if you remember, was it our first episode that we talked about Whit Monday? Mm-hmm. Which then later was named Spring Bank Holiday. Mm-hmm. So end of May. And then, of course, here the August bank holiday. It was originally the first Monday in August, and it designated the last day off that the nation would get before Christmas and Boxing Day. And so in the late 1960s, it was changed from the first Monday, which Lucy here, this was August 2nd, so it's just been a few days after that, the first Monday. So it changed from that to the last Monday in August in the 1960s for England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, but Scotland still observes it on the first Monday. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Then on to Salisbury. We talked a little about Salisbury in the past, but I wanted to kind of do a deep dive into Salisbury. And as you can probably guess, we're going to be adding this to our next itinerary.
Of course.
Of course. So Lucy mentions here how she enjoyed so much going to Salisbury with him and the lovely sunny afternoon they had there. And so Salisbury deserves some time to talk about because it is a beautiful place. Have you ever looked it up? Mm-mm. You got to watch some YouTube videos. There's lots of videos where people are just walking and videoing what they're seeing. It's beautiful. It's located in England, of course, in the city of Wiltshire or Wiltshire. I think it's pronounced Wiltshire. But being from South Carolina, I think we can get away with saying Wiltshire. But it boasts a diverse landscape that combines historical charm and natural beauty. And here are some of the aspects of the landscape in Salisbury. There are rolling hills in the countryside. It's picturesque. If you look up any pictures, they're just beautiful. You can quickly see all kinds of pictures and videos of the rolling hills and the lush green fields, the rivers. It's just an ideal setting for leisurely walks, like she's talking about how she and Jimmie took that walk that afternoon. Hikes and picnics. It's just a beautiful area. The historic architecture is also what it's famously known for. The medieval cathedral, the Salisbury Cathedral, is home to the tallest spire in England and houses the Magna Carta. And that was very interesting to know that one of the original Magna Cartas is there. There was only 4 original copies that survived, and 2 are in the British Library. 1 is in Lincoln Castle, and then 1 is there in the Salisbury Cathedral. And I watched a YouTube video. You've got to watch it, and because I know you were amazed by the St. Paul's Cathedral. Mm-hmm. You will absolutely fall in love with this one, the Salisbury Cathedral. So we really must go there. It's fascinating. It dates back. It's a medieval cathedral. It dates back way back. Mm-hmm. And so the city itself, of course, has many historic buildings, but of course that's probably the center of attention. And the spire dominates the skyline. It's just beautiful. Also, the river Avon or Avon, there's two ways I heard to pronounce it, flows through Salisbury, adding to the appeal and the scenic appeal. You can enjoy riverside walks, see lots of wildlife along the riverbanks. Then there's the Salisbury Plain, and this is where Jimmie kind of comes into play here, because a lot of the camps that they were staying at, where Jimmie was in the 50th Signal Battalion, was along the Salisbury Plain. And just north of the city, there is also kind of, I guess some people might know about this little thing called Stonehenge. Ever heard of it?
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah. So about 10 miles north of the city that's where you're going to find Stonehenge, the prehistoric stone circle. And the Salisbury Plain offers wide open spaces, sweeping views, and a sense of ancient mystery. That just sounds so enticing.
It does.
I really, really want to go.
We have to.
Yeah, you wanted to go to Stonehenge when we were there, right? We didn't have time. So we'll definitely hit Stonehenge and then Salisbury, go to the cathedral, see the Magna Carta. We'll be able to just have a good time. That sounds like the perfect place.
It really does.
There's lots of gardens and parks. And so, beautiful place. So Salisbury's landscape seamlessly blends history, nature, and modern amenities, making it a delightful place to explore and enjoy. And again, we are adding this to our itinerary for next time. A little bit of history. During World War II, Salisbury played a significant role. Air raids and bombing, although there were several warnings, Salisbury was fortunate enough to avoid extensive bombing. The Salisbury Cathedral spire, which I just talked about, stands at 404 feet tall. So you can see it from a long way away. But it actually served as a valuable navigation aid for the German bombers. So they could pinpoint what was what by seeing that. So they didn't want to destroy it because it would help them navigate. So that's kind of why I guess they didn't touch it. But so they spared that from the bombings. And then Salisbury was also an important railway junction with lines converging from the southwest and the west to form the main route to London. Also, Spitfire production. Do you know what a Spitfire is?
I don't know.
I had to look it up. I'm going to put some pictures up, but I had to look it up. This Supermarine Spitfire is a British single-seat fighter aircraft used by the Royal Air Force and other Allied countries before, during, and after World War II. It was the only British fighter produced continuously throughout the war. After Southampton's Spitfire production facilities were bombed, more than 2,000 Spitfires were built in requisitioned garages and sheds in Salisbury. And so the workforce for these Spitfires included unqualified girls, boys, women, elderly men, and a handful of engineers. And their work was top secret. So everybody had to keep it a secret. But their efforts greatly contributed to the war effort by them stepping up and doing this. And I love the story about a man named Norman Parker, who is 95, I guess now, because this is a current article that I read. But he was an engineer who worked on the planes. And he said about 40 Spitfires a month were built in Salisbury at one point, which is a lot. But he said the people who worked on the planes kept their secret well. He said, we had one case where there was a couple at a dinner party in the 70s, and over the dinner table, the wife said, "Oh, I was building Spitfires in Salisbury." And her husband, now this is her husband, get this, he said, "No, you weren't, I was." And so it transpired that they both had been working in the same factory and didn't even know, because that's how much of a secret they kept over that.
Wow.
I just thought that was such an interesting story. But he said the people of Salisbury should be very proud of the contribution their city made to winning the war. So,
wow.
Really cool fact. Fun fact. Sure. And of course, again, the military presence. Salisbury was surrounded by military camps. On Salisbury Plain, Jimmie was there in one of those camps in 9U's, if I'm saying that right. And it was always bustling with servicemen and women. Various nationalities were stationed there, including Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders, Poles, and then later large numbers of Americans. Also, the city hosted evacuees from Portsmouth Grammar School for Girls. These students studied at South Wilts Grammar School in the morning and with local students in the afternoon. So lots of different things in the war efforts that the people in Salisbury were stepping up to help out with. So they were not exempt from the war, but they were they didn't experience all that was going on in London, all the bombings and all that devastation. Another fun fact, I thought this was fun, and I would love to know if Jimmie was not a part of this, but if he got to participate or experience this or witness this. But in 1943, American troops stationed in Salisbury erected a boxing ring in Victoria Park there, providing entertainment and camaraderie for both servicemen and locals. That just sounds fun.
That does.
I wonder if he got to, and I haven't seen it in the book, but I'll go back through and see if there's anything about it in the 1943 time frame. But I thought that was interesting. So to sum all that, I know I talked a lot about that, but I really am kind of fascinated now with Salisbury. And I think that you need to go on there and look at the videos of the cathedral.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think you're really going to be, because I know Megan just fell in love, or that's not even a strong enough way to describe it, how you felt about St. Paul's Cathedral. And so I think you're going to be equally as in awe of this one. So we've got to go there. And if any of you have been to the Salisbury Cathedral, we would love to hear your comments and your feedback about it and your tips, because we are going to go there. So talk to us, tell us all about it. But the city's unique blend of history, military presence, and wartime experiences left an indelible mark on Salisbury during World War II, and we are definitely appreciative to everything that went on there, because our grandfather was there, and we have a connection with the area. So that is all about that. I know I talked a lot about it, but it's so important.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, I have never in all my life known such happiness as when I was with you. You are so strong and able that I always feel with you beside me to look after me. I haven't a care in the world, and I think because I have had such a lonely life and had no one to depend on, I appreciate you fully, and I haven't any fears or doubts as to our future happiness together. Well, dearest, I love you more than ever, and I am always thinking and longing for my darling. Hoping to have another letter from you soon. With all my love, from your Lucy. And then she puts 2 extra X's, an extra special one for the second stripe. Good night, darling, and God bless you.
Oh, I love it. I love
I
it.
do too.
That is just the way she talks to him there is so. I know you had read this before. Didn't you post that on your social?
Yeah.
And that's such a romantic thing to say.
It is.
All of it, the whole thing.
I love it.
So we continue. We're now coming to the end, and we continue on this journey with Lucy and Jimmie, and all that they are both involved in, and the way their lives are during this time period. And we hope that you'll come back and join us next time. Next time we will have our interview with our cousin Mary, and we're really excited about that. And also, soon after, we are going to be having an interview with the author of Key to Command, the book that we talk about, Michael Godbout. If you've been watching any of our episodes, then you are familiar with him. You're familiar with the book. And our cousin Ray posted that he had gotten the book.
I saw that.
I was so excited.
That's awesome.
Yes, and he also posted about the Calvados that we talked about. We love stuff like that. We love y'all posting and interacting with us, and we appreciate those comments and just the feedback and getting involved. We love it. And so we're going to be interviewing Michael soon, and I'm really excited about that one also. So stay tuned for all of that. And we'd also like to mention again that this week, today we are recording on Monday, this Thursday, June 6th, is the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We will be watching the National World War II Museum's D-Day 80th commemoration online, and we encourage you, again, to reflect on this day as well, as D-Day was the biggest and most significant military campaigns in history. It helped to end World War II, and it's important to remember and reflect on all the sacrifices that were made. And again, we mentioned this last time, how these events that took place that day and the days after saved the world from the devil that was Hitler and his regime. And we've talked about, we can't even imagine if the Allies had lost. So take a moment on June 6th, Thursday, June 6th, to reflect on that. And don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. We have a lot of fun stuff coming your way.
Oh, yeah. Especially our Taste of London.
Yes.
Super excited about that.
Yes. We're going to try to release that maybe midweek, but this week we've already recorded it, so we'll release tomorrow because we're a little late getting our episode out this week.
So make sure you subscribe and follow, like, comment, all the things. Share with your friends.
Yes.
Just
everything.
Yeah.
Email us. We got email, like we said last time. If you want to email us, if you know something about Salisbury or anything we've talked about here, we would love to hear back from you. And we are by no means experts on anything that we're talking about. We're just looking things up and researching and doing the best we can with that. But we would love to hear back from you if you know anything about what we're talking about. Just join in on the conversation. We would love that. So, but thank y'all for joining us. And again, as promised, we're going to end with an uninterrupted reading of the letter. So until next time, enjoy.
My darling Jimmie, I was so happy to receive your lovely letter, and I keep reading it over and over again. I was delighted to hear you have had a raise and got another stripe. I imagine the T underneath denotes that you have reached a very high standard, and I am so proud of my sweetheart because I know you must have been working hard. Please tell me more about it the next time you write. 2 stripes in the British Army indicates a corporal, so what do yours with a T underneath represent? Darling, I was surprised to learn you had not yet received your writing paper because I posted it to you the same day I received your letter, which I think must be nearly 2 weeks ago. My letters still seem to take a long time to reach you. Monday will be August bank holiday, so I do not have to go to work on that day. How I wish you were at Salisbury so that I could come and see my darling. Do you remember that lovely sunny afternoon we had there? I enjoyed every moment of it, and it went far too quickly. I have never in all my life known such happiness as when I was with you. You are so strong and able that I always feel with you beside me to look after me. I haven't a care in the world, and I think because I have had such a lonely life and had no one to depend on, I appreciate you fully, and I haven't any fears or doubts as to our future happiness together. Well, dearest, I love you more than ever, and I am always thinking and longing for my darling. Hoping to have another letter from you soon. With all my love, from your Lucy.
If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We truly hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll return for the next episode of the All My Love Lucy podcast.